So today was just a quick update slash test fit day video. Quick update on the car, and I was going to talk about we're just going to test fit the manifold and the turbo now that I have this adapter plate for here. I can install it properly, and then I need to measure the return line. This is not the return line I'm going to use. This is what I'm going to use to measure it. And then I'm also going to measure the feed line as well, make sure that all is long enough. We've got some fittings and stuff to try and make it fit. So first thing to do is, I think, assemble the turbo. So I think the last thing I said was I'm going to assemble the turbo. I actually ended up installing the manifold. There's the adapter plate. Nice and snug. So now I will be doing the turbo. Okay, so I've just got done cocking the turbo, the sensor and the compressor. I'm just gonna go around now and make sure that all these are torqued down correctly, and almost rounded off this bolt right here, but managed to survive just about. It still spins alright though. So I know that it's okay inside. So now I'm just going to go around and torque them down. Okay, so the turbo is finally clocked exactly how it should be, with the drain right at the bottom. What I'm going to do now is, essentially this bolt here is too big, but it does just grab the threads on the, covering the camera. It just grab the threads on the thing here. If I can get it to grab, that'd be useful. There we go. So obviously this is loose, not ideal, but it should allow me to get a good enough measurement for the oil return line that I need to get. So that's what I'm on with now. Basically I'm just going to thread this onto that, and then thread this pipe on, pull that into the engine, okay. And essentially I'll run the pipe down to where I want to run the oil drain into the pan, which is going to be about there, and just measure the line. So yeah, let's go with that. So I have to play around with it for a while. Really struggle to come up with a solution. I think if I can get the MPT 90-degree angle to a -10 adapter coming off that silver thing to come out this way, I might be able to get it cocked that way. But otherwise, I'm really struggling to come up with a solution which doesn't involve clocking the turbo this way, having the oil line kind of come out like that. Yeah, but either way, I think if I do it this way, the brake lines will have to move, definitely. But I managed to get a marker on the line now, how long I need, so I can go ahead and buy an oil line. Lowering springs, also known as new wheels. These are just the 16-inch Toyota Motorsport wheels that you get as an optional extra on this car. So we've got this nut off, and now we need to put the new spring on. Okay, so we've got the second strut in. Okay, so it's done. I've got some wood underneath the wheels because I'm feeling out a little jack out otherwise. And that, if it's sitting, once it settles as well, it looks much nicer.
Absolutely hammers down. Silcock on a shallow line now. Silcock, see, nervous. Oh, Evans dives through the smoke onto the side. And now Evans has to apply the pressure, gives him some room through that middle part of the circuit. And the Silcock on the last line now as he comes into the outside zone 8. Oliver Evans makes a dive through the smoke. Looking for a side, just giving him some room now.
Doing? It's been a while. Finally getting back onto this project. So today my ECU arrived. Got an ECU Master Black. That means that I was kind of planning on just stripping out literally all of the wires, literally everything, just so I could, because I got a new not a new harness, but new wires, but I'm planning on also reusing, because I don't know how good quality these ones are going to be. So I was basically just planning on stripping the whole harness out and then rebuilding it on the bench. And then I'm kind of thinking that, well, when I've got that out, it wouldn't be worth me just pulling the engine out, because it's got, I don't know if you can pick it on camera, but all that down there is just covered in oil. And I'm just thinking, would it be worth it when I have to take all the wiring out just to unbolt a couple engine mounts and rent a hoist for a weekend, back the engine out, clean out the whole engine bay, and then clean the engine as well? I think it'd be worth it. But yeah, it's been a while. As you can tell, all this is all completely rusted. That was brand new when I put it on, and that's completely rusted out. I don't know how well that's going to perform. But yeah, I turned it over. Oh, it's just got some rust in the manifold, so I left that on stupidly. But yeah, it turns over fine. So yeah, I'm just hoping that it's going to be basically all okay. I'm thinking about just stripping out the engine now. Basically my plan is, obviously I've got no idea what any of these plugs do now. I can probably work it out though. I'll basically just work out what these plugs are for, and then hopefully be able to map them out and put it onto the new harness. One thing that I am curious about is whether or not I'll be able to salvage any of these plugs. I'm not too sure about that. I know these two are for O2 sensors. These, I'm not too sure. One could be for the alternator maybe? Don't know. Again, it's all the stuff I'll have to work out. Maybe there's a radiator or something. Or even the ignition system going over here. Obviously over here we've got your injectors. You've also got some NOx sensors down there. And then you've got like an oil level sensor and stuff all down there. But yeah, no, planning on basically just taking it all out and giving it a good clean, I think. So yeah, let's make a start on that. Just one other thing I forgot to mention is that if I pull the engine out, I could do the GTE oil pump swap. So that I get the crank sensor down there, and I wouldn't have to do any fiddling about with the cam sensor or anything like that for the coils. And also, while the engine's out, I could also do front and rear main seals, because I know that it's got about 100,000 miles on this engine, and that could really help be useful. Kind of gives you that peace of mind, doesn't it? So yeah, I'm kind of leaning towards just stripping out the whole engine bay and ripping out the engine for a weekend. Okay, so picking up where I left off, I've just been going around and working out what each connector is. When I got to this one, which I couldn't work out. That's because I had this one as an O2 sensor as well as that one. And actually I don't think that is an O2 sensor anymore, because looking at the O2 sensors on the old exhaust, they're both 4, whereas this is a 6. So that clearly is not an O2 sensor, and I think this one is. It's also the same equation type as that, so I definitely think that's an O2 sensor. Just to work out what that one is now. So I'm starting up with this, pretty sure that's the idle control. Idle speed control, yeah. So fire that up. So with that one done, I believe that's every connector done on this side of the harness. Yep, that's it all done. Now onto this side. Okay, so moving on to this side of the engine. First one I picked up on was this one, and that connects into this. I can show it one-handed. There you go, that goes in there. And then just click up that part number. This is a vacuum control valve, I believe. So let's go ahead and mark that up. Okay, so I've got them all labelled up on this side. see if they're rats in this at the moment, but there's this one which I'm not too sure what that is. I think, oh no, I do know what that is. This one I don't know what that is. But also, if you see, it goes all the way down there to the transmission. That's if it finds the transmission. So I'm basically trying to work out now, is the engine harness actually separate to the ECU harness? So basically I'm trying to get all this apart so I can see on the inside if these two systems are separate or together. So that's what I'm trying to do right now. Alright, so I've come to the conclusion this is definitely be a problem. I'm definitely going to have to plug something up down there. I know that at least one of them is going to be easy to get to and two of them aren't. So that's not going to be fun, but knock on rust, that's going to be okay. Okay, so we're into the car now. That is the first plug that's in the row. As you can see, absolutely covered in oil, so that's not going to be fun trying to get that off. That right there is the next plug, and that's about the much of gap that I've got to stick my hand in and plug it. Right, so that right there is the final plug, which again is at a weird angle. It's going to be tough for me to get out. So I've got that one off. It's not flashlight on, but you can see there, that's the connector. Okay, also, these there, I have no idea how I'm going to get them off. So, I got it undone. It's a pain, I had to go get another screwdriver, but I got it done. And I don't know if it's going to go back on because I think I broke it, but oh well. This one looks like it might be easy because they've actually turned it through 180 degrees. So I might be able to get something under out dead easily. Yeah, that one was a lot easier. Where is it there? A lot easier, that one. So now just that plug to do, and then that should in theory all just pull out, I think. And that's it, last one's out. Now in theory, unless there's, I think there's one more holding thing up there I want to get from the engine bay. I think in theory that's all I need to do from below. And I think it's the hardest one to get to of them all. That one right there. I really have no idea how I'm going to get to that. I may have to take off that. This little linkage here. I think that's all it is, it's just linkage. It looks like it.
6.5 hours later.
So I've got the gearbox ones down. It was very difficult. Getting that out was difficult. And also there's a hole that holds the wiring. It's all the way down there. It's just impossible to get to. I pretty much just ended up yanking it until eventually it came. And I ended up just bending the metal that it's attached to. But well. Now I'm trying to get to the ECU, which I actually have no idea where it is. Reading on the line on the later models, I believe it was just behind here, but I've got no idea how to get to that. So I'm starting off by just pulling out the glove box and that. So I'm starting to pull out the interior. Pulled off this thing here, now this is all wet. Just cleaning those closer getting in through there. You can see where it's getting through. But probably a good thing that I pulled it up and identified it. But I'm trying to find out if I can. I'm just trying to get behind the carpet because I believe that's where the ECU is. But it's just a mess behind here. No, absolutely no clue at all where it is. I managed to get the carpet up, and I can see now two nuts. So I'll take those two nuts off, one down there as well. I'll take them off and see what's behind. And that right there, I believe, is the ECU. And some weird portable digital DVB thing. Never seen that before. Let's work out to get the ECU out. I have successfully retrieved the ECU. Okay, now I really want to pull this, not this, but the harness through the firewall. Right, so I've got those wires out. The blue's pretty much out now. Just a power lead for this portable digital DVD top set, whatever that means. I'm pretty sure I might be able to see where that's going.
In the bin.
Digital TV. Wait, what? TV? No way. Alright, so I was just watching back the video, all the content from the other day, and I noticed I didn't really finish off the video. Basically, I managed to get all them out. Basically, all the ones of the transmission I didn't bother labeling. Now I'll show you the thing that's going to replace it. It's ECU, master, EMU black, and I got that's what I mean by I got all the wires, fresh new wires, so I can hopefully just rewire everything. Going through each one of these things, trying to work out which one, what's what, and these announcements was kind of just throwing me off because everything I was finding online basically wasn't giving me a definitive answer. I was hearing basically it's can be used for sensors such as temperature sensors, And I was thinking, well, you've already got coolant temperature, EGTs, IATs. The other thing I can really think of is maybe oil sensor, maybe oil temperature sensor. It really baffled me. I can't believe they've got all these pins for just temperature sensors. So I was a bit confused. And so I went onto the ECU software, and you can see you've got the analog inputs right there. Now if I open that up, pulls up this little system here, and I can press help. It tells me the analog inputs configuration allows, and you can read it. So essentially that gives me a bit more of an understanding of what these inputs are for and can be used for, and it gives me a good understanding, because I know this is solid information I can use to go and research now to find out what I can actually use those pins for. What else? There was something else. These RS232 pins. These are believe for the CAN signals. Don't quote me. I think it's been a while since I actually managed to research this, but I believe it's for things like is it communication something or other. I don't quote. Again, I need to do more research on them if I do need to do anything with them or not. H-bridge again was another thing that I had no idea what that is, and I did research it. In fact, do I have the notes still? I might have closed it down. Yeah, so I basically started making notes on each one. As you can see, I put analog inputs of sensors such as temp sensors, I think. Coolant temperature sensor, wideband, base value. Yeah, extension to add additional devices to ECU compatible with RS232 communication. Not right now. As you can see, the battery 12 volts. That's this one that I've wired into the cog already. Like I say, I found information that needs to be, where is it? It must be supplied through a 3-amp fuse, and I assume that's being an inline fuse. Cam sync necessary for complete sequence of ignition and injection. One thing I'm unsure about yet is if I've got it's a cam sync, but if I have a crank signal, will I still need this cam signal as well? I'm not sure. I don't know, and I don't know if that's something I'm able to start up, how I'm going to set that up yet. Vehicle speed sensor, ECU ground, obviously. Auxiliary 4 is the tacho. As you can see, yeah. No, I actually got confused. I thought they went analog from before that, but no, it's definitely that one. So yeah, I mean, injectors is all pretty solid. You know, it's all excuse me. Now, what are these things are? For self-explanatory, like the ignition and the injection. I'm just gonna go through each one and work out what I need, and then pair it with this and wire it through. I'm still waiting for the FMIC forward-facing intake manifold, just because once that's I can wire up I can work out the length I'm going to need for the TPS and any valves. So, for example, there's a lot of things on the wiring loom that I took off, which were for what was it? Vacuum control valves, I think it was. So maybe these analog can control them. Again, I've got no idea. I would assume so. I mean, it would make sense. So basically, as you can see, just got that wired right in. It's got nothing terminated on the end. Nothing terminated on the end, but yeah. I mean, I guess I could maybe start wiring in some other stuff. I don't see why not. I know I'm gonna need any. I would wire in this, but I'm waiting to buy. I mean, there's 2 GE coil and plug kit. Then once I've got this physically in my hand, I know exactly what I need to wire into the loom. And I suppose I could go off this information here probably, but yeah, no. I'd have to wait to have it in my hands properly. And unfortunately, it's out of stock at the moment. As soon as that comes back in stock, I'll be buying that for sure. Oh, another thing maybe use an analog signal for is maybe controlling the electronic boost controller. And that's where I'm at. Need to start wiring stuff up, really. Okay, so I couldn't wait. I had to try and test with the intake, and it will just not fit. Basically, fuse box and batteries in the way. But I think I can test fit if I can just come over this. Which looks like I just need about 10 milli. Unscrew that and I'm good. Okay, so I'll remove the battery, remove the fuse box as much away as possible after removing it. And I managed to get the intake manifold semi-eye in, and it's come to another problem. It hits the firewall, which means I'm going to have to work out somehow how to probably just knock the nail with a hammer, give me some encouragement, and eventually that will hopefully fit. But yeah, no, this is... It's pretty big. I'm kind of worried about my power steering reservoir, whether that's going to fit or not. It might just fit, but we'll have to see. So yeah, no, that's sick. It's pretty goddamn sick. So this is definitely a job for tomorrow probably, once I'm doing my daily. But basically, I think I need to work out what's behind here, and if not, there's any room for me to get that in. It's going to need a good few inches. Sorry to get that in. It's going to need a good few inches. I mean, it's got this weird material on it. I'm guessing it's like some kind of fabric material. I can maybe cut that out and get a bit of room. But you see, I've got essentially that's the hole I'm going to get that stud on there. So you got like a good what, 2 inches, 1.5 inches to go, and you won't get that with that. It's going to need a good bit of whacking probably with a hammer. Quite annoying, but I'll get it done.
3 days later.
Alright, so I don't really remember what I was doing in the last clip. Pretty sure it was wiring.
Nope.
I was going to show you what I got done with the wiring. So this is the grey connector, and I got things like all the injector wires on. I think there's some Y-band stuff. Let's show on the camera. There you go, Y-band heater, some grounds, ignition, 12 volt, things like that. The black connector. I got basically all the grounds, and again all the Y-band stuff. And the yellow ones was the coolant temperature and TPS signal. I've left pretty much everything else just yet because I'm still waiting for the coils to come back in stock so I can buy them. And I'm not sure what other sensors I'm going to use. I have all the auxiliary wires here and these H-bridge ones, but I'm not sure what I'm going to use them yet. I ended up noting down, so obviously I noticed that things like the mag valve, an oil pressure sensor, things like that could be put into the NO switches. That's what I'm kind of planning at the moment. I'm not sure about, I did have a map there, but I'm not sure how that works yet. I need to look into that. Another thing I was really unsure about was how sensors are wired into the ECU, because I understand that effectively there's power, ground and signal, but I didn't really understand where the power and the ground would go through. But then I started looking for the ECU software, and I found a diagram like this which shows the power 5 volt coming from the black connector number 34, and when you look at this, black connector number 34 is a 5 volt supply, and then I found B18, so like black connector number 18, black pin 18, TPS, and obviously ground which goes to number 29, which is that ground right there. So I think once I've got all this kind of stuff figured out, it should be pretty easy. One thing I'm unsure about, because there's only 2 5 volt supplies, and I'm assuming you can't run multiple sensors off one pin. So I'm not sure where the other supplies are going to come from for them. Something I need to figure out. There's some good information out there on the web, which I'm going to try and research some more. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I've got to mention as well is that these wires that I've got with the ECU, I couldn't find any knock sensor wires anywhere, but the kit comes with wires for injectors 7 and 8, and obviously this is going on a 2J, so there is no 7 and 8 injectors, so I think I could probably just reuse this wire for the knock sensors, but we'll have to see. Alright guys, so I've basically been trying to get my head around all the wiring stuff in this car. It's extremely complicated. and I couldn't work out for the life of me where the ECU gets the signal to start the engine, send a signal to the starter, and what wires will do that. And I've basically come up with a theory that the starter motor is not actually turned on by the, is actually controlled by the ECU. So essentially, obviously you've got your ignition switch over there. This is my theory. Ignition switch over there, which comes in to this connector here, which then gets connected to the engine harness. So essentially that comes from the body harness to the engine harness, which then goes down to the starter. Now in theory, if I'm not mistaken, I should be able to hook up the battery without the ECU installed and turn the engine over without the ECU installed. So I'm gonna just hook up the battery, find my keys. If my theory is correct, I should, when I put this key in, it is moving. Put it on and to start. Now that could be because the battery is flat. So I'm going to hook up a battery start. So now I have the charger hooked up and it is charging, so let's see now if it will do it. I don't think it will, which tells me that there is something in the ECU which controls whether or not it'll do anything. Yeah, I mean, you can see it's trying to do something because it turns off some of the electrics. So now in theory, if I plug in the ECU and it turns over, we know that the ECU definitely has a role in the turning on of the engine. I think that's all I should need in theory, unless the ECU needs something off this plug. I'm not sure. Again, this is something just to test. I just want to try it now and see if this works. So with the battery hooked up and now that one plug plugged into the ECU, will it now turn over? No, it won't. Okay. Disconnect the battery and plug in the other side. Completely. Can't see it, it's down there. Let's see if this will turn the engine over. No. How weird. Because it would do this before. Unless it needs other things turning, plugged in. Huh. The ECU or the car needs to see that the transmission is in either the park or the neutral position, but because I've removed all the wires from the transmission, it doesn't know what position it's in. So I may need to climb underneath the car and just get that plugged in again. Just realised there's a bunch of work on this without telling anyone. Basically, bought this trigger kit from Goldberg's Parts from Australia, Sound by Aaron, shout out. And basically this trigger kit requires you to install these cams. Obviously I've done the whole timing belt stuff before and installed the old cams, so I have to take these cams off. I've already loosened them, as you can see, got the timing belt off. This is going to rusty, but bearings still feel fine. As long as that surface ain't going to cause a problem, that's all that matters really. I also need to get this pulley off at some point. I'll probably do that today. I think the next thing is I'm going to pull these cams off, put the new ones on, and then maybe install the little trigger thing which goes into these two by the looks of it. So yeah, let's go ahead and move these. Okay, so we've got the new cams installed. They're not tightened, but I'm on. It's actually a really tight fit. Like the locating pin on these is slightly too big. I've just got a mallet and just knocked them on. They're still fit, they're on. Obviously they need tightening, need to top them down. But they are on. That seems good. So now I think it's pull that off. put the timing belt on and torque these down, but I had forgotten that when I took off the timing belt tensioner a minute ago, which is admittedly really old, it broke. Snapped off the bolt hole. So luckily, literally like yesterday, I bought a brand new one of these because I knew I was doing this job. I knew that this thing was really old. So luckily I've got a new one coming. That should come probably tomorrow. But it means I can't put the timing belt on to tension it, and also then use it to tighten down these bolts. So instead I took off that bottom pulley in preparation for pulling the engine. In terms of pulling the engine now, what's left? Let's see. We've got engine mount down there. Is that loose? So I'm gonna do something else, like a fuel, maybe fuel pressure regulator right there. By the looks of it. Starter probably needs disconnecting. AC lines we're gonna need doing. This side's pretty much done, I think. This side's pretty much done. I want to take that off today probably. I want to get some rust treatment. I think other than the AC, that fuel thing, maybe some like odd bits and bobs here and there. Like, dipstick needs going back in and sorting. But you can just see how much oil there is down there. Like, I can't wait to get this engine out and clean it properly. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much there. I just need to do AC. I'm not doing that today because I can't bother. Yeah, exciting. So, probably next job is I'm going to put this back on here. Just keep it safe, know where it is. Same with this pulley bolt. If I can. There it is. Right. Actually, gonna see. She's pretty solid. I don't think the engine mounts are doing. Put the camera down low. I can't kind of see. See, they don't look like old. They don't look like they're perished. Same with that one down there. That's why I don't want to do engine mounts. So. I should do, but I don't want to spend the money on them. I think in the last clip I basically said I was going to take the manifold off, and I've done that. I've been to the shop and I picked up a bunch of stuff. I picked up this hammer rust remover because this thing was starting to get rusty, so let's see what this does. I also come across something like this, which is an inline fuse, which I thought would work for what I need, but for the ECU, because you need an inline, I think it's a 5 amp inline fuse for the power. Constant power, but this is for, I can't get it out, but this is for a small fuse, and I've only got big fuses, so I'll need to run out and get some small fuses at some point. And I've got some small fuses there. I also got a few other things like heat shrink and connectors and stuff like that. So yeah, I've applied rust remover to this, and I'm letting it sit for about 15 to 20 minutes, and I'm about to come through and apply some more, and I'll do that for another 3-4 times, see where we're at with the rust, and then dry it off. Yeah, letting it do its job. Okay, so it's been about 2 days since I started using this stuff. This is its 3rd coat, and I've laid it on nice and thick. You can see just how thick it is. I can already tell you it's already done off the 1st coat. I'm madness. It's actually insane. All this area here was just full of rust, and now it's nice and clean. I'm doing this because I wanted to look nice, and also because I was getting some rust on this front face, and I didn't want it to like, end up causing a leak. So I'll lid it on nice and thick. Hopefully that'll eat it all down, and then everywhere else is up, we're just gonna clean it all up basically. Some areas like this here just don't need it anymore, but in some areas like here, you see there's some rust, there needs some rust. And the sides as well, you kind of can miss. So yeah, I've just laid it on thick, and hopefully that will Get most of it off, and then come back in about 20 minutes, see if we need some more, and then let it sit for about an hour, 2 hours. Take it outside, wash it off with the brush, and then see where it's at.